You ever see someone so convinced they're right, so absolutely sure they've got everything under control that you almost feel bad for what's about to hit them? That was Brenda Patterson standing on my porch that bone-cracking February morning in Boulder, Colorado, all wrapped up in a designer parka and righteous indignation. I'll never forget the way her breath fogged the air, angry little puffs as she told me no, demanded that I clear her driveway. That was the exact second I realized Brenda had no idea who she was dealing with. She says, "What did you just say?" Voice sharp enough to shatter the icicles on my gutter. I just sipped my coffee, trying not to laugh. I said, "I'm not clearing your driveway, Brenda, or anyone else's in the HOA. That's not my job." She pulls out her phone, waving it around like a badge. The HOA covenant says homeowners have to maintain the common areas during weather events, including clearing snow. She's got the rules memorized. Of course she does. But Brenda's not hearing me. I tell her, "Your private driveway isn't a common area." That flush on her face. Not the cold. She's pissed now, snapping, "Don't play semantics, Kyle. We're supposed to help each other out during emergencies. That's what neighbors do." I almost snorted coffee out my nose. Neighborly would be asking nicely, not banging on my door at 7 a.m. with a list of demands because the HOA dropped the ball on snow removal. She goes silent for a beat, then throws the full weight of the HOA at me. "There'll be an emergency meeting at my house tonight, 6 sharp. I expect you to attend." I just tell her I have to work. "This is more important than your little business, Kyle." She marches off, nearly wipes out on my unshoveled steps, but manages to keep her dignity, which is more than I can say for the HOA these days. Here's the thing. My name's Kyle Zanakis. I bought into Ridgemont Hills 3 years back, a little 2-story place I paid for working as a project manager in Denver. After years of corporate nonsense, I started my own property services company with 2 buddies, snow removal, landscaping, the whole 9 yards. What Brenda and the rest of the board didn't know, my company had just bought out Alpine Peak Plowing, the only licensed snow removal outfit within 30 miles, and the same company their HOA had just fired. We kept the old name for business, but make no mistake, I was the boss now. I kept that fact to myself. My truck's unmarked, I don't mingle at block parties, and my neighbors just figured I worked construction. The irony kills me. The HOA let Alpine Peak go, thinking they'd get a better deal somewhere else, except there wasn't anywhere else. Every company they called turned them down or quoted twice the rate. The HOA thought they'd save a buck, so now homeowners had to shovel their own driveways and the main roads. Worked fine until last night, dumped 8 inches, and the forecast promised another 6 by nightfall. Our private road city plows wouldn't touch them. Without Alpine Peak, Ridgemont Hills was stuck. That morning I cleared my own drive and went to work where my crews were swamped, phones ringing off the hook, everyone scrambling. Around 4, my partner Marcus calls. Some lady named Brenda keeps calling, says she's from Ridgemont Hills, wants emergency snow removal, offering half our usual rate. I laughed so hard I nearly choked. Tell her no, he already had 3 times. Now Brenda was threatening to report us to the city for refusing service like we were a utility or something. "Did you tell her who owns the company?" Marcus says. "Nope." "Figured you'd want to handle that." Smart man. I tell Marcus about my morning run-in with Brenda. He just whistles. That's some poetic justice right there. Brenda's called an emergency HOA meeting, probably to put me on trial for lack of community spirit. I tell Marcus I wouldn't miss it. So I roll up to Brenda's house, top of the hill, big stonework 3-car garage, 8 cars already parked out front. The usual cast of board members and looky-loos who love drama. Brenda answers the door with a tight little smile. The living room's packed, Donald the president, Linda the treasurer, Robert the secretary, and a handful of neighbors I recognize by face, if not by name. Donald acts like I'm on trial. "Brenda has concerns about your refusal to assist during this weather event, Kyle." I tell them, "My driveway's clear, my sidewalk's clear. What more do you want?" Brenda leans in all business. "We're asking you to be part of the community. You agreed to uphold certain standards. Show me where it says, I have to clear other people's driveways," I say. Donald starts quoting from the covenant, something about maintaining common areas. "That's not private driveways," I point out. The room gets tense. Brenda's red again. "We're working on hiring a company," she says, "but until then, everyone has to help." I remind them they terminated the contract months ago with plenty of time to find a replacement. Silence. How did you know about that? Donald asks. It's on your website. The real kicker comes when Donald threatens to fine anyone who doesn't contribute to community snow removal. $100 a day starting now, I laugh. You're going to fine me for not shoveling other people's driveways? Linda, the treasurer, chimes in. Our legal counsel says we can. I tell them good luck. See you in court and get up to leave. Brenda tries to block the door. Sit down, Kyle. We're not finished. I tell her, we are. Nowhere in those rules does it say I have to be your free labor force. The board's trying to save money, but at what cost? Now everyone's supposed to spend hours clearing roads with their own shovels. The room explodes. Everyone's yelling, Donald banging his hand on the table. Finally, Linda admits no company will take the contract at a price the HOA will pay. Then maybe you shouldn't have fired Alpine Peak, I say, watching Brenda's face darken. You're enjoying this, she accuses. No, Brenda. You made this mess and now you want everyone else to clean it up. She tells me to get out and I do. Out in the snow, my phone buzzes. Marcus, Brenda's called 6 more times, last voicemail's heated. She's threatening to blast us on social media and call the BBB. I tell him, let her. We have all the work we can handle. But as I sit there in my truck watching snow collect on the windshield, I have to choose let the HOA flounder all winter or tell them who I am and offer a fair contract. I'll admit the vindictive side of me wanted to watch them dig themselves out. The pragmatic side, well, that one wins most of the time. Next morning, after another foot of snow, Donald texts me at dawn begging me to clear just the section of road near my house one-time emergency assistance. I ignore it. At work, the day's chaos, then Marcus hands me his tablet. Brenda's emailed a formal plea for snow removal. It's passive-aggressive, full of corporate lingo, but desperate. She wants to re-engage our services at a competitive price. I reply from my business account using my full title. Dear Ms. Patterson, Alpine Peak Plowing is now owned and operated by Zanaki's Property Services. We can offer you the same service as last year, 12% higher to cover cost. Contract runs through April 15th. If you're interested, let me know. I send it before I can change my mind. 30 seconds later, Brenda calls. You own Alpine Peak, she hisses. I own the company that bought it, yes. She accuses me of a conflict of interest. Linda's husband does the landscaping, I remind her. Silence. The offer expires Friday, I tell her. After that, we're booked. That's extortion. No, Brenda. It's called running a business. Your choice. That night, there's a town hall. Board and neighbors fill the clubhouse, everyone tense, everyone watching me. Brenda accuses me of price gouging. I break down the numbers, fuel, labor, insurance, all up. My rate's below regional average. Linda checks on her phone, confirms I'm right. The board accuses me of taking advantage. I remind them they fired Alpine Peak, first shopped around and found out the hard way nobody else wanted the job. A woman in the crowd asks why I didn't offer my company's services sooner. I tell her honestly, I keep work and home life separate. I never pitched for the contract until the board demanded I work for free. They ask for more time. I give them until Friday. Take the deal or don't, but I won't negotiate again. For 2 days, board members send frantic messages trying to haggle. I stand firm. Thursday evening, Donald shows up at my door looking beat. He apologizes for how the board treated me, says they're broke, can't afford my rate. I offer a 5% discount, but only if they sign a 2-year contract, pay on time, and Brenda apologizes publicly for demanding free labor. Donald sighs, but he knows it's fair. The next afternoon, they accept. Brenda's apology is so passive-aggressive it's almost funny, but I take it. Saturday morning, I watch from my window as my crews plow Ridgemont Hills, 2 trucks clearing every street, neighbors coming out to thank them. By Sunday, another 21 inches falls record snow. We clear it all. The community Facebook page lights up with drama. Most people support me. Some defend Brenda. A few invent wild conspiracy theories. I ignore it. Then a certified letter arrives. Brenda, acting on behalf of the HOA, has hired a lawyer and filed a formal complaint against my business, alleging conflict of interest, fraud, the works. My own attorney reads it, laughs. She says it's baseless, pure intimidation. Turns out Brenda didn't have the board's approval. An emergency meeting's called and my lawyer Patricia comes along. She schools Brenda on the law in front of a packed clubhouse. There's no conflict, no fraud, just business. The board votes to drop the complaint and issues a formal apology. Brenda's not done. She files complaints with the city, posts on Facebook, accuses my trucks of damaging mailboxes, all dismissed. She tries everything to harass me, but nothing sticks. Finally, after blocking my snowplow with her Mercedes and refusing to let us clear her street, Donald calls a vote. Board authorizes police intervention. Brenda backs down barely. That night, the board votes to remove her. Turns out she's also been misusing HOA funds and audit fines. She's taken $34,000 over 18 months. Police investigate, and by April, Brenda's arrested for embezzlement. After that, things get quiet. My company finishes the season with perfect service. Linda calls, says the board wants to renew our contract, and apologizes for everything. They even ask us to handle landscaping. New board members come in, the mood in Ridgemont Hills shifts, people start acting like neighbors again. Brenda pleads guilty, gets probation, pays restitution, and vanishes from the community. Her house sells to a young couple with toddlers. The next winter, as snow falls, my crews keep the roads clear. I drive a plow myself some mornings, enjoying the work, the peace, the sense that maybe, just maybe, things are finally back to normal. Looking back, the whole mess taught me something. Boundaries matter. Communication matters. People in power need accountability. Most of all, everyone, yes, even Brenda, thinks they're the hero of their own story, but nobody wins when pride trumps practicality. Justice. Yeah, you could say karma made the rounds. Brenda's downfall wasn't dramatic fireworks. It was a slow, cold reckoning. For me, the real victory wasn't watching her lose. It was building trust, doing good work, and seeing a fractured neighborhood knit itself back together. So here's my question for you. Where's the line between standing your ground and helping out? When does community spirit become coercion? And when does holding people accountable become revenge? I'd love to hear your thoughts, your stories about tough neighbors, tough choices, or that one time you had to stand up for yourself, even when it wasn't the popular thing to do. Let's talk about it. What does justice look like in your world? And what would you have done if Brenda showed up on your porch?